follow on to the next one of the next stories that I wanted to talk about, where somebody is having dinner with Jesus. But before I get into it, I want to tell you a little story about our Thanksgiving this year. So Thanksgiving morning was kind of slow. We didn't do a great job of getting out of the house. We were supposed to get over to Jenna's family at 9:30 in the morning. So we were just a little bit late. We got there around 11:30. So we were close. Now, food wasn't happening until noon, and let's be honest, that's when you want to get there, right? Generally speaking, is right when the food's about to happen. Now, growing up, we were always told food would happen at noon, and it didn't happen until 2. So that was always very frustrating for me. But we were going over there, and we had a great time there. Lots of fun, lots of great food. Although for you people who come on Wednesday nights, what actually, let me ask you this: what is the thing that I have been the most excited about this year for Thanksgiving? What have I talked about nonstop? Turkey skin. Yeah, it is the best. Yes, it is the best. None of the Thanksgiving dinners I went to had turkey skin. The first one, Jenna's family, they had a turkey ordered that was going to be prepared for them. Order got canceled. They didn't know it. So the night before, they instead had to get a roast going. And the roast was fantastic. You know what the roast did not come with? Turkey skin. Did not come with turkey skin. So then we go over to my mom's that night. And that's really where I really want to get to, is talking about that story to set the stage for this passage. But my mom decided this year to cook the turkey differently. And so she said, oh yeah, this turkey skin didn't really brown and everything. I'm like, as I'm holding it, it's all nasty and slimy. Yeah, I can tell, Mom. So that was even worse because it was there in my hands and not the way I'd been dreaming of. It was just, it was a struggle because, right, there's so much to be thankful for, and I'm thankful on Thanksgiving, but the one thing that I've wanted, not there. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the sermon, but I wanted you to know that I didn't get it.
Next year.
I pray for next year. So anyway, but we go over to my mom's, and my mom, she does a phenomenal job with Thanksgiving food. She makes this delicious squash. She makes fantastic sweet potatoes, like sweet potato casserole. It's phenomenal. She does a great job with the turkey. The turkey was really good. Just no skin, but it was really good. Her potatoes are always excellent. Across the board, her pie was excellent. Across the board, she does a phenomenal job. Well, anyway, we're sitting there, and I had promised Anthony that we were going to play a game that he's been really wanting to play. And thank you to the Garschweilers. They let us borrow for a couple days. Turned into like a year. Let us borrow this game called Poetry for Neanderthals. Super, super fun game. Well, in all this time that we've had it, Anthony has not gotten to play it. And so I promised him on Thanksgiving we'll play. Well, I told him we'd play at Jenna's family. Then they didn't play any games because the hosts had to leave early. And so he didn't get to play there. So I'm like, oh, shoot. We'll play at my mom's, okay? Don't worry, we'll play at grandma's. And so we go to my mom's, and we're there. Great food, all that stuff. And so I said, okay, well, let's play the game now. And we sit down, and we're waiting on my mom to come play. And other things are going on, and she's in the kitchen cleaning, putting stuff away, and I'm just waiting. for my mom to get done so we can play the game. And she looks out at me and she says, "Are you guys waiting for me?" "Yeah, we are. Let's stop cleaning for a little bit and come play." And I told her this a couple of times. The stuff will still be there once we're done playing, and then we can help you put it all away. It'll be fine. And so she was like, okay, well, let me just put away a few more things. And that just became more and more time, and people are getting restless, and I'm looking at the time, I'm like, oh my goodness, if we don't get playing soon, we're going to be here all night. And she just kept cleaning and putting stuff away and all this stuff. And I finally just said, "Hey, Mom, if we don't play this now, we're not going to get to play. I need you to come play the game with us. Anthony's really been looking forward to this. He really wants to play. Please just take a break from what you're doing and come sit down." Finally, she did. She comes, she sits down. We have a great time playing the game. Anthony and I, we won, so that was most important. Not really the thing I want you to take away from that story, but I still want to make sure you understand that we won. And so we do that, and I was so frustrated. And as I'm preparing this message, I'm like thinking, man, yeah, that's a really good example of like what I'm going to be talking about here. She just wouldn't stop being busy. And then I was convicted because we'd had that game since like March. And I had not played it yet with Anthony. And here I am frustrated with my mom for being so busy putting away the food and cleaning up and all that stuff, even though I've had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to set something aside that I was busy with to go play this game with Anthony. And so Luke chapter 10 and verse 38, we're going to read about a lady that was just so busy that she was missing it. So busy that she was missing what was going on around her. So Luke chapter 10 and verse 38, it says, "Now it came to pass as they went," that's Jesus and his disciples, "as they went, that he," Jesus, "entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things. But one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her. I was telling Jenna about what I was going to be preaching and everything, and before I could say anything, I just told her, I'm going to preach out of the passage where Jesus is there with Mary and Martha's walking around she's running around getting everything done. And before I can even say anything, Jenna's like, "Oh, I'm Martha." What? She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Martha for sure." You haven't even let me tell you about it. Obviously, she knew about it. She's read about it. She's done Bible studies on it. She was like, "I'm Martha. I'm the one that's running around trying to get everything done." I mean, you watch Jenna here doing that, right? And so many of you, so many others of you are that way too. I'm that way in some things, but not like Jenna. Jenna, she's Martha. And I don't say that like critical. Don't worry, she's right in here. Don't worry. Don't be getting all ready to defend her. She knows. I know. Everything's okay. Besides, I think even with my bad back, I could outrun her. So, probably actually not this time. But she was very quick to say, "Yeah, oh yeah, I'm Martha." And so, but this is what Martha's doing. Martha is doing exactly what is expected of her as the hostess, as it's her home. She welcomes Jesus into her home. Well, that's exactly what you're supposed to do if you're having people over. What she's doing is logical. She's making sure that everything is taken care of, especially when she has the kind of esteemed guest like Jesus. I mean, Jesus, at this point in time, it seems as if they don't necessarily know who Jesus is. Later on, they're going to know exactly who Jesus is. But right now, they don't necessarily know that he's the Son of God, but they know that he's a rabbi. They know that he is this religious leader, and that he's healing people, and that he's wonderful. And so she invites him into her home, and she's just wanting to make sure everything is right, everything is perfect. She wants to make sure that she's doing the absolute best that she can. And she's looking over and she sees her sister Mary, who it would also be her responsibility, being the sister of Martha. It would be Mary's responsibility to make sure that Martha's getting help with whatever she needs help with. A lot of you are this way. If you have the luxury of this year not hosting Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you go to somebody else's home, what is one of the absolute first things that you do when you walk in?
Sit down.
Naomi says, sit down. Yeah, you say, well, can I help you with anything? You walk into the kitchen. Hey, the kitchen, what do you need help with? Hey, what can I do? What can I help with? That's just a natural thing. Even I do it, and you don't want my help. Like, I'll like, hey, what can I help with? What can I do? Hey, do you need something moved? Do you need something set up? What can I do? Especially if you look around and you're like, oh, they're behind. Oh, they need help. You go, hey, what can I help with? I'm here. I got nothing else to do. What do you need? But Martha's looking over at Mary, who's supposed to be helping her. And Mary's just sitting there listening to Jesus. Just like everybody else, just like all the other guests. She's just sitting there listening to Jesus. And Martha's frustrated. And you could kind of understand why. Because you probably would be too. If your house wasn't exactly the way that you wanted, if the dishes were dirty, if the house hadn't been swept or vacuumed, if you hadn't gotten the dog hair off the furniture, if the laundry had not been put away, any of these things, right? And you have these guests over that you're so excited to have there, but you're also freaking out because they're here and stuff needs done, and you don't know what to do, and you look around and you see a family member that is there with you, not doing anything, just sitting there. Maybe there's something dirty right next to them, and they're just ignoring it because they're just, focusing in. You'd be frustrated. And in fact, think about it this way: if you had family over, and I'll take the pressure off of you for a second. It's the holidays. Let's be nice and easy. Let's bring Jenna and I back into the fold here. I know it'd be difficult for you to imagine Jenna being upset with me, but let's just play the game, okay? Let's just pretend. If that could happen, imagine us having everybody over for, I don't know, a cookout at our house, right? And imagine like walking in and you look around and you think, oh, everything's totally fine. Everything's good. They've got stuff all set up. Things are excellent. And you look at me and I'm pretty hunky-dory. Yeah, hey, everything's great. We've got it all set up. Let me go sit down by the fire and hang out. And somebody says, well, where's Jenna? I don't know. Well, what's Jenna doing? I don't know. She's putting something away, I think. Oh, she's doing this, she's doing that, she's doing this, she's doing that. And then she looks at me with these, 100 things to do. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, everything's great. Frustration would build up in her because Not because I'm, fellowshipping with people, but because she's given me like a list of 10 things to do that I forgot to do. And she's now having to go take care of this and take care of that and take care of this. You would all 100% understand her frustration. Even if she was frustrated with me, you guys would understand her being frustrated. Because you've been there. We've all been there. Frustrated looking around at somebody else not doing something, and we feel like we're walking around trying to do everything. We've all been there. And especially this time of season, man, it is so easy to be busy with everything and busy with anything. I mean, just busy, busy, busy. March. Anthony says, hey, Dad, can we play the game? I'm busy right now, buddy. April. Hey, Dad, can we play that game? I'm busy right now, buddy. May. I'm busy. August, September, October. I'm busy. I'm busy. I've always got stuff to do. And so do you. Understand, right? Like, there's never not something to do. We can always find something to do. In fact, something to do, we don't even have to go find it. It's always like staring us right in the face. Hey, you need to get this done. It's like, yeah, I really do. I need to go do that. I need to get this done. I need to do this. I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm busy. And Martha, she was doing stuff that needed done. She wasn't being ridiculous. She was doing stuff that needed done. But Jesus says to her, it says in verse 40, he says, but Martha was cumbered about much serving. The word cumbered there, it's this idea, two things here. The word cumbered, if you look up the dictionary definition, I'm talking to, I don't remember what year it is, but that old one, Old Webster's, 18 something. It says cumbered, so it talks about being loaded. And it talks about being distracted as well. You can be cumbered, you can be distracted. Well, this Greek word, when I was going and looking at, okay, well, how did this, it was translated cumbered here. What is the Greek word? And it's the Greek word for distracted. So she was distracted. It doesn't say that she was overloaded with things to do. It says that she was distracted by the things to do. And I think that's really important because even though something needs done, it does not necessarily mean it needs done right then. And you guys that love to get tasks done, you're very task-oriented and like very go, like, no, I got to get it done. I say that and you are tempted to get up and walk out of this church. You're like, no, if something needs done, it needs done now. You do it now. But Jesus says to her right here, the Bible says about her right here, she's distracted, she's cumbered by much serving. They're the guests at the house. What's she supposed to do? Of course she's supposed to do that. And she's looking at Mary, who's not serving, and frustrated because Mary's not serving. But where is Mary? Somebody tell me, where is Mary? She's at Jesus' feet, hearing his word. Martha's busy, but Mary's listening. Don't be so busy that you miss Jesus. Don't be so busy that church becomes a sometimes thing. Don't be so busy that the Bible becomes something that you try to get to when you can. Don't be so busy that the idea of getting down on your knees to pray is something that you just don't feel like you really have time for. I understand that what this life requires of us takes a lot of time and effort. And I'm certainly not encouraging any one of you or myself to be lazy. But we can become so distracted by things that do need done that all of a sudden God gets pushed to the side and we get around to Him when we can. Time with God ought to be the top of our priority list. There's not one thing, one task that you or I need to complete in our daily life that is more important than a relationship, a walk with Christ. Mary, she knew things needed done, but she said they don't need done right this second. The work will still be there once Jesus leaves here. I've only got Him here for a short period of time. I need to hear what He has to say. You and I, we can't just devote all day to the study of God's Word and praying. Like, you got to go work a job. You've got to raise kids. You've got to do things. But make sure that Jesus is top of the priority. This time of season, like I love Christmas. I love Christmas. I love Christmas trees. I love snowmen. I love all of it. I love beautifully wrapped presents. I love horribly wrapped presents. I love this time of year. I love Thanksgiving. Mostly because of turkey skin, which I didn't get, but I love Thanksgiving. I love this time of year. But man, what a shame to go through this time of year and miss Jesus in all of it. What a shame to come to church but miss Jesus because your mind's somewhere else, thinking about something else. So this season, don't be so busy that you miss Jesus. But I also want to say here, Jesus answered her because she said, she goes to Jesus and said, "Hey, don't you care that my sister Mary isn't helping at all? Tell her to help me." And Jesus says to her, "Martha, Martha." Probably not a good thing when He has to say her name twice, right? It's like, chill. You're running around doing all this stuff, and I know it's important, Martha, but listen, calm down, relax. Look at what your sister Mary is doing. You don't need to get those dishes cleaned right now. You need me. You don't need to make sure that that's swept right now. You need time with me. And just as, not just as much, but like second to time with God, I would say would be time with family, right? Like, we only have so much time. And if I have a limited amount of time on this planet, I want to make sure that I'm spending the right amount of time with God, and that's giving as much to Him as I can. But then I want to make sure that I'm with my family. I want to make sure that I am spending time with them. Unfortunately, in our busyness, what we a lot of times do is we allow things to come between us and our loved ones. We can allow frustrations to get between us. We can allow bitterness to get between us. You might have a relative, a close relative that you have maybe seen for Thanksgiving, maybe you're going to see them for Christmas, and it's just not the same like it used to be because something happened. We don't have enough time for that. There might be somebody that you used to be really close with. And we say it all the time. Yeah, we both just got so busy. You ever heard that or said that? We just got busy. Their life went this way and my life went this way. And I get it, that's true, I understand. But we got so little time. I just think about some family members, my brothers that, I see them, Lewis, whenever he's here, like I see him. But my brother Matt, I'll see him every once in a while. But, growing up, my brother Matt and I, you couldn't separate us. And believe me, I tried because he was an annoying little brother. Like, I tried, but he just wouldn't let anything come between us. You know what finally came between us? Life. I mean, we have a great relationship when we see each other. We text each other, but I don't see him. I mean, he was my little buddy. Now he's taller than me, but he was my little buddy. Time got between us. Kids, relationships, life. Nothing wrong, just life. But I don't have enough time in this life for that. I need to make sure that I'm making family priority. I can't be so busy with life that the people most important to me aren't part of it. And I don't think that's what you want either. But man, is it so easy to do. So here Martha is just distracted, cumbered with much serving, busy, and now's going to Jesus angry at her sister. I don't want that. You don't want that. In this church, man, you can be so busy with something, and you might look around at somebody else not doing something. Libby and I yesterday, we're sitting here talking, and Jenna was going around and still, getting stuff done, decorations and everything. But Libby and I were having a really great, important conversation. And Libby, even though she and I see each other all the time, a lot of times we don't have conversations. You and I don't have enough time in this life to not have conversations. We fill it with so many things. And I'm not trying to belabor this point, but I get that it's important stuff. You've got to go to your job. I know. You've got to go do this. You've got to go do that. I know. Yeah, but I got to clean this. I've got to update this. I've got to this. I've got to that. I know. But when your life is coming to an end, when you're there after 80, 90, 100 years, and you're looking back on your life, you're not going to be thinking about, I really wish I had done more dishes. Right? No, what you're going to think about is, I wish I had put those things down for a little bit. I wish I would have done this more. I wish I would have spent more time with the people that I cared about most. Not to end, I don't want to end this on a somber note. I want to end it on a challenging note, and then also very much a thankful note. Wednesday night after church service, Jenna and I and the boys, we went into Trafalgar to get some gas so I didn't have to do it in the morning. So we went and got some gas. Leaving Trafalgar, somebody pulled out in front of us, and I wasn't able to stop in time, and I swerved and hit the back of their car, and this was a pretty decent accident. And in these split second that it's all happening, I see several things. One, I see the car pull out. And immediately I start to brake as hard as I can. I see that I'm not going to stop. And so I start to turn, trying not to turn too much, right? Because of the dangers that come with that. So I'm not trying to overcorrect, but I turn and I'm braking, and then I see his face in the car, out his window. But can't really make anything of it. I just see a silhouette there. But I see a person. And I think, oh God, please don't let me hit them. But then they stopped. They didn't keep going out. They were out to where I couldn't go through, but they stopped instead of continuing on, which now put me on course for their back seat. And I thought, oh God, please don't let anybody be back there. And then as we're coming close and I'm braking and still trying and we're about to hit, I just think about my two little guys in the back seat. And I say, oh God, please don't let anything happen to them. Please keep them safe. And I'm so thankful that everybody's okay. Everybody was okay. Everybody's safe. But it happens like that. And I'm so thankful that we're all okay, but at that same time, somewhere else, somebody else stepped into eternity. Somewhere else, in some other town, in some other state, somebody else got in an accident and lost their child. And I'm so thankful that we were all okay. But it happens like that. And I promise you, they're not spending 1 second thinking about how they wish they had been more busy. They are begging God for another chance to sit down and play a game with their loved one. Be thankful for what you have this holiday season, but do the stuff you need to do. I know it's important. Get it done. But while you're doing that, make sure that you are making time in your life for what is truly important. Do not let yourself be so busy that you're telling God, hey, I got stuff to do. I need you to wait. Or you're telling your family, hey, I'm busy. I need you to wait. Make time for what's most important. Time is something that none of us are promised. Make the most of what you've got. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. Thankful for the opportunity to be up here. I'm thankful for my Savior. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for you. Thankful for the opportunity to preach. My heart is just so full, probably because emotions are still running high from everything, but let's use this time wisely. I know you've got a lot of time left. I believe that. I trust it, but I also don't know it. And you don't either. Spend it wisely. Let's pray. Lord God, we thank you for this morning. Thank you for who you are, for everything that you've done. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for watching over my family and families here. Lord, thank you for just who you are, all the blessings that you've given, the love, the grace, the mercy that you flood our lives with. Lord, as we go through this season, I pray that we would take a break every now and then from the busyness and just sit at your feet. Sit down with our brothers and our sisters, our family. Sit down at your feet. Listen to you, worship you together. The stuff will get done, but let us use our time wisely.